The biggest thing that lacks in this industry is content. And it's just like the same old repeated black car, chauffeur hat, chauffeur gloves.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mark from Limo Marketer, and I'm joined by Robert Daspit with Lagniop Chauffeured Services in New Orleans. Thanks for joining me, Rob.
No problem.
Marketing, and he was showing me his Instagram account, and it's just pretty wild. I haven't seen any other operator in this industry that has so much good, super high quality content. If you go on your Instagram, you prefer Rob, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So if you go on your Instagram, you almost think it's like a legit, like, car manufacturer, like huge company, because what you've done there is really cool. Just so that everyone can go to it and check it out. What's the handle? It's Ride with Rob, or
You go to Ride with Rob or Book with Rob on Instagram and see all the content that we produce. It's one of a kind. It's definitely.
it is really cool. How'd you get into this industry? How long have you been in it? Like,
So
how did this all start?
I've been in the industry since 2010. My father was in the industry back in 1987. He was always known in New Orleans for putting people's Rolls Royces together. He would take the Rolls Royce motor out, and then he would put the Chevy 350 motor in the Rolls Royce. And that's what he was pretty much known for back in the day. And he passed away when I was in high school.
Is that like a car collector? Sorry to interrupt. That was just wait. Putting the like the Chevy motor in the Rolls Royce. What's the
He had a Cadian Classic limousine, and the 1962 and 1961 Silver Cloud had the Rolls Royce motor, and not too many
Okay.
people were familiar to work on those and parts and stuff. So he would take the Rolls Royce motor out of that vehicle and put the Chevy 350 in it to make it run a lot better, longer.
And someone could work on it, actually, your
Right.
Rolls Royce, right?
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't have to worry
Interesting.
about the Rolls Royce manuals because you had a Chevy 350 in it.
Yeah.
So I didn't think I would get into the industry. And then one day I met James Carville, the political guy, the Raging Cajun, and I was his personal driver for about 4 years. And then just started with one car, went to 11. And once you get put into a certain circle of trust, the connections just expand and you can grow, and you're only as good as you were in this industry. And that's how we blossomed into what we are now.
Yeah, so your dad then, he obviously knew his way around cars. And so he had a chauffeur transportation company. I'm guessing when you were a teenager, you started driving. Like, I did the same thing. My dad owned a painting business, and I started working for him when I was like 11. Granted, you probably couldn't do that when you were 11. You had to be 16, I'm guessing, or I don't even know if chauffeurs have to be 18 or something. But did you just start pretty much as soon as you were at the age where you could start, like, chauffeuring, working for your dad's business, or how did?
No, I was like a mama's boy. So I was always with my mom. My dad had a mechanic shop in the Acadian Classic limousine back in the day. And I was just never around it. And unfortunately, my dad passed away in seventh grade. I wasn't around that much the industry until I started
Oh.
meeting people, and they were like, "Hey, I know your dad, blah, blah, blah. He used to do this and that." And it's crazy. Like, one of the coolest stories I ever heard was there's a large limousine company here in New Orleans that's is the biggest, right? And the old man, Mr. Melvin, he was like, "Man, you wouldn't believe that I'm standing here looking at you today, because when I was about to lose everything, I had went to your dad and had to sell something. He had the money to give to me to expand to what this company is now." And I was just like, wow, I never heard that story. And I did what I did.
Whoa, that's wild. So
That
the most, it sounds like, well-known, biggest in New Orleans got
yeah,
his start because your dad
helped out at
helped
a
him
certain
out a
time
little
that he
bit.
needed. Yeah.
Wow.
I never knew that story. My mom never told me it until I came home and told her. I was like, hey, I met this guy, Mr. Melvin, and I verified. And the old man was like, yeah, that's what your dad did for me. Whatever you need. And it doesn't change
Wow.
anything, but it was pretty cool to hear that story.
Yeah. So did you get your start like working for that business then?
Me and a friend went and worked for Limousine Livery back in like 2010, 2009. And that's when I heard the story when we were working for them. And then I met James Carville and he was just like, hey, come drive me. So I was like, sure, whatever, I'll come drive you. He's funny as can be. I started driving for him and I still to this day. And
No way. To this day.
yeah, we're
No.
pretty close.
That is so cool. And I'm sure like, man, it's once you get that connection, I'm sure that's led to a lot of good
It's
connections,
led
I'm
to some
guessing.
pretty impressive things that have happened because and that's circle of people, they go by your reference, your word, never to
Yeah,
repeat
yeah.
anything. And that's how we are. We're still close to this day. I just texted him this past weekend and asked him who he was taking in the Chiefs and Buffalo game. He was like, take the Chiefs. So we're
Nice.
still very close.
Yeah, so, some clients generally don't search online when they're looking for a vendor. And
No,
that's why, yeah, online marketing, it's good and it's a component. There's so much that is meeting people in person, getting to know them. And especially this gentleman, I'm sure it's not like just he finds his chauffeur online or something. Once you're in that network, I'm sure a lot of goods come from it. So you started, when did you start Lagniop as it stands today?
2011.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Nice. And so it just started, has it mainly always been black car as like the core of the business, I should say?
So the core of the business always been the black car, corporate
Yeah,
America. As soon as I was hooked up with him, that's the kind of clientele I wanted to stay with because
sure.
they all know what they have to do, where they're going. Time is of the essence. And it's just, they don't have any of that baggage that comes with some regular clients here and there.
Sure. And certain parts of the industry, yeah, as soon as you get into the Friday, Saturday night party sort of
Yeah.
vehicles, that comes with its whole own set of issues, right?
And that's what we stir away from.
Yeah,
To be honest, we're not the big Mardi Gras fleet and all the back club stuff you might see in Miami. And so we're really strict corporate America, that high end type of clientele that know what they're going to do.
yeah. And this is a good segue. So the high-end clientele, you hear all the time when you do what I do and talk to a lot of limo companies about, I'm not looking for clients, tire kickers, people that are cheap. And generally they're talking about not wanting to be a commodity, right? Setting themselves apart. Where did you get the idea? Let's get into that. So if you go on Rob's Instagram, which I recommend everyone watching this do, check out some of those videos and some of that content he shot. First off, how did you even get into that or have that as an idea where you realize, hey, you know what? If I do want to be different, if I do want to be seen as this luxury brand, I need to have a certain image. Like, when did that click for you?
So it's crazy. So back in 2013, when one of the biggest reservation management companies, you can call it like a Savoya, a Fortis, a Limolink, when one of those came to me and said, hey, can we use your content for our website? I knew I had something then, right?
Oh,
So
interesting.
the biggest thing that lacks in this industry is content. And it's just like the same old repeated black car, chauffeur hat, chauffeur gloves,
Stock
black
images.
tie. It's the same old, it's the
Yeah,
same
no,
shit that
same
you
old shit.
see every
Yeah.
day. It's the nice chauffeur that's dressed for that one picture and stuff like that. So that stuff gets boring after a while, right? Because you
Totally.
have to make this stuff entertainment for you to stay motivated in it. and things that are just like totally off the wall, you have to do to promote yourself.
Yeah.
And nobody does it. You have
Uh-huh.
companies that have 100 million plus in revenue and they have shit content.
Yeah.
It's just, that's not a
I'm
good
going to just share this screen real quick. So now I'm on, as you guys can see, all of this, Rob, this is all yours, right?
all of it, 100%. We just bought the Tesla truck, wrapped it. That's one of my favorite videos, that Mercedes, the Batman. This one right here.
Yeah. Is it,
Let's see, up ahead of that Emerald one, that one right there with 9,223.
oh,
It
wow. Yeah.
sounds
You
great.
you also pointed one out, and this is from a ways back that was shared by a big car manufacturer, that the cornfield one. So you're just driving around and your mind's always just thinking in the back
Just
of your mind.
always like, why would somebody want to book a car with a guy with a flamethrower
That's awesome.
out the sunroof of a Maybach?
That is awesome.
You have to get people's attention with social media. They don't want to. We all know you can pick up at the airport. So what's going to set you apart from like the assistant or the mom or dad checking social media to see to make sure you get the car that you book and stuff like that? Like you have to. It's
It's an image thing, right?
have to help apart.
Yeah, it's just you've got the cornfield one was really cool. Is it this one here?
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like
It's
some
just
random business guy coming out to cornfield
it's so random, but it's unique.
to.
Yeah. And so, anyways, I just wanted to give everyone a little taste of that because it's good to get an image. But so back in 2013, Limo Link or some big, it sounds like broker wanted to use some of your images, and you thought, hey, I've got
Yeah.
something here.
Yeah. It was the first time I was offered money for my content. And I remember calling my friend. I was like, dude, they want to license this and do this. And he's like, let's just do it, see where it comes. So we
Yeah.
did. And now we're known for that content. Now we have companies from New York, LA, Arizona, Houston, Miami, everyone asking, hey, can you come help us shoot content? We'll pay for your guy to fly out here. And we did some stuff in DC for a guy that was just an affiliate of ours. And I was like, hey, go grab your cars. I'll have my guy with me. We'll shoot some stuff for you so you can give to your people. And then that way I can give to my people to promote your city. And I'll have that content already preloaded. So it's like a
Yeah.
win for both of us. I don't have to pay for the cars for the shoot.
Yeah.
For my clients to give to Mark when he's traveling to DC and ask me, hey, what cars do you have in DC? Here you go.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I was talking to a client that's in that neck of the woods 3-4 weeks ago, and he was talking about just setting himself apart, right? How do I set myself apart? And it's like the first thing right off the bat is real images of your vehicles. So I hear this all the time. Guys want to set themselves apart, but then they only have stock images and they'll invest several thousand a month in advertising, but they don't want to spend not even that much, probably $1 or $2 grand to get just a ton of really high quality images of their vehicles, videos. And the great thing is, once you have that, you can use them in all of your marketing material.
You can repurpose it. It's incredible how much you can repurpose it.
Totally. And so it's crazy to spend all this money, on paid ads or whatever it is, SEO. It's make that investment in especially if you have a nice fleet, right? Because another thing I see a lot, and I'm sure a lot of operators do, is they go on a website of their competitor. They're like, he doesn't own any of these vehicles. And sure, it's very common in this industry. And I get the idea behind listing vehicles you don't have, just because you're like, what if I get all this SUV work or whatever, but they just need a bus for a day or something, right? Am I going to turn down all that work because I don't have a bus or something? And so before you know it, these one car operators, it looks like they have a fleet of everything the person could want. And yeah, I feel like if you actually put real images of your vehicles, and actually I would almost say more importantly, yourself, right? That's another thing
Mhm.
I've noticed about you. You are in a lot of your images so they know, hey, this is the owner of the business. This is the face you can trust. Where a lot of this industry, most of it, I would argue, is you can't find who the owner is. You just, it's, and I noticed this years ago when I used to cold call to get clients. I'm like, man, I can never figure out who actually owns this business. And I won't mention his name, but you actually spoke with another one of our clients and consulted with him. And he's doing something similar where his face is on his website. And man, that just does something. So
Yeah.
what kind of like that seemed to just be apparent to you, right? Was that just something you've always understood? Hey, no one else, why aren't they doing this? Like, how did you come to that?
I'm 6'5", 265 pounds. So I'm gonna put myself out there. My wife always says we cannot miss you. Right. Billboard. I just noticed like all these companies, they all have stock branding, I would say.
Yep.
There's nothing you can like believe in or want to spend your money in towards that direction or that person without seeing a face. Now, people see me and they see my face and they see my business. They feel a little bit more to spend with me because we want to see this young man prosper. We want to see, I see that owner every day. It's just, would it feel nice? It's like you see Michael Jordan, right? Why is Jordan? He's the logo. The jump man is the logo.
Yeah.
And that's Jordan himself. Nike's a
Exactly.
check. There's a reason why Jordan's revenue is a certain amount and Nike's revenue is a certain amount because people believe in Jordan.
Yeah.
When I go to myself, I want people to believe in me. That's why we do the photo shoots, we do the scheduled content, we do the different suits and stuff like that. And it's all affordable.
Yeah.
All you have to do is find you a car club and a young kid within your neighborhood or outside at a community college or whatever and say, hey, you want to do this?
How did you end up finding, because this is an ongoing thing, right? This
We
is
do this 3 days a week. We shoot content 3 days a week. It's
wow.
mandatory. Fortunate that he lives 3 houses away from me. I'm fortunate he doesn't have a girlfriend. He still lives with his parents.
Perfect.
All those good things, right?
Sure.
So I grabbed a youngster. His dad, I'm good friends with. He was like, hey, my son went to school for photography. And I went to the young man. He's, man, I don't feel comfortable shooting your stuff because I know you like things a certain way. I was like,
Yeah.
look, I'll buy everything you need to be successful. You're going to shoot my content and you're going to go try to start your little business on the side doing this.
I
That's what,
love that. So you helped like buying the equipment he can use on other clients,
yes.
but that's going to make your
But you
images.
cannot shoot any limo companies.
Yeah, sure.
They
Yeah.
all reached out to him and tell him, no, but
Yeah.
can you come shoot this stuff? And they're like, sorry, we can't. But
I think that's
you
pretty
find,
fair.
yeah, I think it's fair. You find somebody that fools around with cars, likes nice cars, and you just got to take a leap. You're going to have so many ups and downs doing the content. You're going to feel this stuff's not working. You didn't get
Yeah.
likes, all that stuff. But you constantly still have to push it out there. I don't care if you think that you take a bottle of water and shoot it and video it 10,000 different times and repurpose it, it's going to catch somebody's eye. And you just have to do a little bit to be different. A little bit. I need a lot. Like the car industry, the chauffeur industry is so dull that if you just do a little bit, you can do big things.
Stand out like
It's-
crazy, right?
Everyone is just so focused on making money. But what if you have a Suburban, an Escalade, a Navigator, S-Class, and you're shooting content and that auto dealer comes to you and says, hey, I want you to come shoot our content, or how can we intertwine with my business and your business? If you have an S-Class and you're going to the dealership for service, 9 out of 10, you're going to bump into somebody. Hey, What do you do, buddy? I'm a chauffeur. Oh man, I have this Maybach. You come drive me in my Maybach, or you're gonna meet an attorney or a doctor or a mom that's a wife that's a NFL player's wife or something. You're gonna meet somebody and you could just network and turn it around. So
And these are the clients that are like the A tier
you
that want
want
to be driven in a Maybach, right?
exactly. And I feel like a lot of people in the industry just get so discouraged because they either can't find someone or it's too expensive or they think it's too expensive. There's too many apps out there with CapCut. Like I was thinking ever since we talked the other day, I was like, man, you know what? I think a small time operator between 1 and 5 cars, whatever, 10 cars, you're still a small operator. Like you should have these three things, right? Content, SEO, and paid ads.
Yeah.
You don't need a car. I can have content, SEO, and paid ads and probably still do really good.
Sure. So it's like booking.com and the airlines, right? Like these websites that don't like that print money, but the airlines, they like break even. It's
Exactly.
crazy because it's the rainmakers, right? What does the rainmaking?
Mhm.
SEO, but content, that's like social SEO, right? In a way. Whereas
Right.
SEO, you're trying to get links to your site or whatever. For people who don't know, that's trying to rank your site organically. Paid ads, those are the listings when someone does a search or whatever. But content, that's very much like social SEO in that SEO just takes a long time. And that's one of the toughest things about it is really the results come after years, right?
Yeah.
And like you with content, like probably part of you just enjoyed it, right? Yeah. Like you got an
Sure.
artistic side to you, right? And
Mhm.
for a lot of people, just like posting images, like especially of themselves or whatever, is just scary to them, or starting to create content. And then if they expect to like, all right, if I do this for it's been 2 months. Oh man, where's all the clients? That's the wrong way to look at it. It's just
Right.
something you do, brushing your teeth every day. You shoot content every week.
Every week. It's a must. Like one of my clients, Emerald Lagasse, right?
Oh,
When you
no way. That's bam.
bam, right? When you
Yeah.
hear him say, hey, that's Robert Rob right there, or that's Booker Rob right there. And he's telling his people that are coming to the city that he has these big, like Carnival Cruise Lines. He has a great relationship with Carnival Cruise Line because he believes in us so much. He believes in kind of. What do you think he tells them? You got to go with Robert Rob. So
Yeah.
because of that, look, if you don't think these companies go and search your social media, you're crazy.
Yep.
And if they go to your social and they see a couple posts here and there and they see poor quality, you might be really good at a chauffeur, but they've already pictured you as, I don't think he's competent enough to do it.
Yeah. Or they can't even find who are you? Who is this company, right?
And everybody is so stuck on delegating the sales, the phone calls. Oh, bro, I gotta have the secretary because I'm focused on driving. That's a negative. I've been doing this for since 2011 by myself. We went from when we first started in the 380 category of gross sales to 1.5 in gross sales with one person, one person that enters reservations, one person that answers all the phone calls, one person that does all the billing, one person that collects all the money, one person. That's me. Yeah, there is some downfall to it. Yeah, if you get into the black and white, yeah, I could see that downfall. I'm aware of that. But I have Mark that does this. I have Dickie that does my social media that does this, and Robert does everything else. And we have
Yeah.
all our drivers. I just need to worry about my drivers looking the part, feeling good, and doing a good job. The rest of the
Yes.
stuff is all BS. You do not need a secretary. If I can do 1.5 by myself, anyone else can do it by themselves.
Wow. So you're talking about, and most, I would say a large portion of my clients are a similar business structure where they don't have like full time, because the work is variable throughout the year.
Exactly.
And it's like, when do you hire someone full time? It's in the slowest month. I still want to keep them busy full time. That's not easy to do. So that's the structure then. More, you see the values in your content creation, your SEO, like your ads, and you doing what you do. That's the
Right.
value. And then the driving, that's like the commodity in a way, to where I shouldn't say commodity. You want to have good people, right? That you trust. I'm
Yeah.
sure you do. Is that accurate?
Our drive, yeah, I won't hire. We haven't hired anyone pretty much since I started. All my drivers have been with me since I've started, because that they know I'm bipolar. They know I'm crazy. They know we all gonna get into little tips here and there, but we see the bigger picture. I'm not a owner that's on top of you. It's here's
Yeah.
your work. See you later. Call me if you get in a wreck, because I can see everything else with GPS and stuff like that. But there's one thing I make sure that I do is that all my chauffeurs have tailored suits to their body type, whether they're 300 pounds or 150 pounds. It's tailored
Wow.
to their body type that I cover,
Because they're
because
representing you, right? They're
they're
representing your
representing me,
brand.
and I want them to feel good. If they feel good and look good, they're going to perform very well. Just like Deion Sanders says, look good, feel good, play good.
Buying, like, not even your employees, but like a nice tailor, you feel better, right? When you're in a
Just
tailored suit.
feel you have to have a tailored suit. All your suits should be tailored to your body type. It's very inexpensive, and it does wonders to the eyes of the client.
You've inspired me for this next Chauffeur show. I need to go get a new. I got some suits in Thailand 12 years ago that I still wear. I need to go get myself. But no, it makes such a big difference. A tailored, even if it's not about being some like super expensive brand.
It
It's
doesn't
that
have
if
to
it
be Tom
fits.
Ford. It could be Walmart. Just have it
Yeah.
tailored to your body type.
Yeah.
It's so important to have going into a room full of people and wanting to know that, yeah, this is tailored to my body type. I feel good. I can hang with the best of them. Some of these big time operators should do the same thing.
I can't believe I've never heard this before. That, yeah, you pay for the suit, right? If they're doing work for you, like every month, then
Right.
that's like an investment, right?
Exactly. It's for everyone to be penny pinching in this industry and talking about this and that. If you have a tailored suit and you're a suburban, you can make just as much more money than the person in a tailored suit and the Escalade. I think that I've seen some things crossing over into the black polo entourage type deal and relaxed. And I think we have to remember, as an industry, we're not a relaxed industry. This is a very service quality engine, and you have to keep it there.
Yeah.
We cannot bow down to this t-shirt and jeans.
What sets you apart, right? Why,
know,
why are, to
right.
go from, to charge the rates you want to charge, like you've got the image, right? And then when your chauffeurs show up, they've got that image, and that's what people are paying for, right?
They want to
That
feel
in,
like, if you have a CEO that's making $5 million, he doesn't want to be around someone that's in jeans and a t-shirt while he's
nah.
busting his ass away from his family. He wants someone that's going to look the part.
Yeah,
You just have to
exactly.
look the part. You can be as a bag full of bricks. Just look the part
Yeah.
and know how to get to the airport, and you'll get you a $40 tip.
Yeah.
And then it adds up, so that you just do a run, you get paid 25, 40, that's $65 in 27 minutes.
Yeah.
Why not just look the part?
Yeah. Yeah. It's worth
Getting your
it.
hair cut. How often do they get their haircuts? I go twice a week. I'm fortunate enough to have
Yeah.
my barber live close to me, and I have no hair. Believe it or not, I have no hair, but I
But
get my
it's
hair
always at a
twice.
certain length. It's got to be clean.
You
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
have everything. And I think as an industry, I think what independent operators get is they get scared. on, is the revenue going to come next month? I want to hold on to my money because I don't know if it's going to come next month, and I want to save for this and that. And that's just the scarcity mindset you have, right? When you release that and you're like, hey, I'm going to start taking care of myself and doing all that, it all comes back to you. I watch a lot, I listen a lot, and
Completely agree, by the way. Completely agree. It is
comes
a
back to you.
big difference.
And
Yeah.
you just have to relax and let it go and spend it on you and not hoard it for that rainy day or that bad month. Because if you eliminate that thinking, you're never going to have a bad month.
Yeah. Yep. No, for sure.
You know, and go out there and just shoot content, shoot stupid content, whether it's you taking your kids to the soccer practice or basketball practice, baseball, whatever. Going to pick up your kids from school, going to pick up something from CVS. Hey, it's me and my Mercedes going to CVS to get my prescription. Shoot that.
Yeah.
That's content. People want to see it. Then someone might take that and say, oh, my grandmother needs her prescription picked up. I saw Johnny in his little Instagram video going to pick it up. That might be $100 run to go pick up.
No, totally.
Back to some elderly person.
It's like, attention, right?
Shoot it.
Attention.
You just have to shoot.
Attention is like the new, like that's everything. And so when you're posting like this consistently, your face, your brand is in front of thousands, tens of thousands. With how many followers you have? Over 11,000. Those are all real followers. I know, because you just look at your Instagram. That those are real followers.
So Mark, you know what I was doing the other night? I was watching Gladiator 2. Have you seen it?
It's so funny. My wife and I love Gladiator. It's our favorite movie. We haven't seen 2 yet. We need to see that.
I was watching Gladiator, right? And I was like thinking in my head, I'm like, man, that would be cool. I get the gladiator mask, the King Arthur sword, the little coat thing that they put on, the little like long thing, and I'm just ride around the Maybach, go into Starbucks, go get me a coffee to walk back out.
You were made for this. I love it. It's so unique, like, right? That's the kind of stuff I can share.
Ghost Rider mask. I had one. We get all like different things like that to give yourself attention.
And it keeps it fun, right? Look.
Because it gets boring.
Yeah, sure.
You go to the airport 20 times a day, it gets boring after a while.
Sure.
But when I did an airport video and I showed up in the Maybach with the Ferrari. I was watching Formula One and I was like, I want a Ferrari suit like that with the Ferrari helmet. I'm going to get that. And I'm going to shoot me getting out with my luggage, walking to the airport in my Ferrari suit with a Ferrari helmet like I'm a Formula One driver. And people reposted that so much at MSY. And it was so
it's unique. Like, how do you even come up with, but I know you're always like, you're probably never consciously really like your mind's probably always working on this. Hey, that would be a cool idea. And you almost play the video in your head, right? You already know what it's going to look like. You're like, yeah, that's going to catch some eyes.
But then what if Ferrari sees it and they're like, hey, that's going to be our chauffeur for whenever we travel to New Orleans, or whenever someone buys a Ferrari and we need them to be transported from their house to the airport, call that little Ferrari driver in New Orleans. Like, you have to shoot content. If you don't have content, you're going to be dead.
Let's pretend that you never got in this content game. You're a small operator, but you're watching this video and you're like, man, I need to start shooting some content.
Yeah, I would.
What do you recommend? If you don't have a neighbor, you mentioned schools. I think that's a good idea. Photography students, people that are just starting out.
I would send an email to one of the universities looking for, or post it on, I don't know if they still have Craigslist or something like that, but just sit there and look. You can even look on Instagram and find people.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
We were in Tulum last year and I found somebody, and my wife's, you just picking this random person off of Instagram. I was like, his content looks good.
That's all you need to know. You're already seeing the output. Yeah.
And we talked through DMs and he came to the hotel and we went and shot content in Tulum. I have it on the site. And what happened was, because I found this little man in Tulum, we now have a relationship. And I was like, I'm gonna just start a car service in Tulum.
And it's a write-off going there.
So he's my connection in Tulum with the drivers. And so now
Oh, I see
he
what you're thinking.
promoted Tulum. And because we did the SEO, if you type in car service Tulum, we're the number 2 spot organically.
That is brilliant.
We get
Especially-
more requests for Tulum.
No.
It's ridiculous. And he shot all of our content for my family. I had him go get some cars while we were in Tulum. We went to Pablo Escobar's old place, shot all kind of content over there, got some drone footage. But now we have the Tulum footage to give to people in the US when they book. And I must get 20 bookings a month from Tulum.
Whoa, that is so brilliant too. And because I'm sure a lot of people that are researching vacation spots, so much is Instagram, right? People just looking through photos and boom, they see that. So not only with SEO, but if someone's planning on going to Tulum, they've got their transportation covered.
And that's the kind of things that take you to the next level of expanding and doing great things. It's just content. You have to be able to, and people are like, oh, you can't trust what you go find on social media. I've done it more than one time. And every time I've been lucky, I found a legit person and people that want to work and do business. Yeah, I'll come. Showed up to the hotel. I didn't know who he was. He could have been a whatever. And let's go shoot. Let's go.
He worked out.
And
sounds like.
Now, in Tulum, I tend to let people, I'm like, hey, just go shoot stuff and come back to me and let me see what you got. And I'll tell you straight up, either your shit's poo or it's good.
Yeah.
He came back to me and I said, hey, grab you a model you worked with or whatever. And he came back to me and I was like, okay, great concept, great everything.
I gotta
but
say
I need the girl to have a little bit more clothes on.
Okay. So yeah, something was, hey, it definitely catches your attention.
Like
Hey,
some other photos, I was like, hey, can you have her change the dresses? But that was one of our downfalls. We had one of those hiccups and we fixed it. And now he shoots stuff for us in Tulum, sends it back to us, and we had that great relationship.
That's beautiful. And yeah, you're like
all off content.
So you've got not a location, right? You've got drivers you use there, right? And you are essentially the booking.com in Tulum for chauffeurs. That is so freaking cool. What a great story. And it all started with content. And we're not talking about like a fortune here that you're spending a month on content, right?
No, we're talking about at the most $27.50 an hour. I give them 40 hours a month. And it takes them like 2-3 hours to go shoot content. He'll go 2-3 hours on this day, 2-3 hours on that day, and then 2 hours here or there. But
so wait, like you're talking less than $1,000 a month then for like
less than $1,000.
Okay. And again,
we're
it's
shooting
business expense, right?
It's business expense. And it's Fortune 500 quality. It's as long as you're not on someone's back and you let them breathe, they're gonna do pretty good.
Yeah. And one other benefit of this, and I need to start doing this more myself because I don't do this for personal things and you're like inspiring me. I put out content, but it's more business related content is when you're shooting content, whatever you're doing, that is a business expense, right?
Yes.
And so that a lot of these content creators, everywhere they go, flights, hotels, like it's a business expense, right? And that's probably one of the best
business prop.
Yeah.
That's a lot of these chauffeurs want to go get like the big Louis Vuitton briefcase. Yeah. This is called a prop.
Yeah.
Just with a freaking Louis. Everybody wants to go get the Gucci and Louis. These are props.
Yeah. No, it's true.
You don't use this to go out with your friends to say, hey, I can now afford this stuff. These are
Yeah.
called props to me. It's
No, for sure.
100%. And then I'm going to write 100% of it off.
They're in your images, your videos. What more proof do you need than that? It's just,
So if those guys want to get those things, make sure you take a picture of it with you in it and use it as marketing.
I love this. That's so brilliant. And yeah, local colleges, any
Coffee
photography
shop,
students.
uh,
Sorry, you said where else?
coffee shops. If you can, if you have anybody in your neighborhood that has like a Fast and Furious looking car that's souped up, or a little kid that is in that, even someone in high school that's
Yeah.
has a photography background or is going to
Yeah.
school doing extra things with
Or just
photography.
super interested in it, right?
It's
Some
just
are
take a
just,
chance
yeah.
on them. A seven
No,
hundred
for
dollar
sure.
camera can get you a long way if you don't have any content. Now we've upgraded our
Sure,
equipment.
of course. Because it's like paying off, right?
It's
It,
when you get Cadillac and Mercedes messaging you, "Hey, can we use your content?" And you're like, "Sure."
yeah.
The 4th of July, I think the biggest thing was the 4th of July post that we did this year. Mercedes reposted in their story with their American flags flying outside of the Maybach, and just having that open line of communication because they reposted this, and I sent them a DM following up. We had a deal for Super Bowl and was like, hey, why don't we just shoot content together for Super Bowl? Can you give me like 4 Maybachs? Y'all are coming down with ESPN. Can we shoot some content? We didn't get that far to do it. However, because of my content, I got the girl's email. She said maybe next time, this and that. We have that open line of communication. And if you don't think content can take you to the next place, you're crazy.
Yeah. Is anyone one of the reasons I was like so inspired when we were talking about this was I was trying to think of anyone else in the industry doing this. I couldn't think of anyone. You're the only one I can think of. That's but granted, there might be others.
There might be others. I don't see them too much. Now, I see a lot of people that use my content on their pages, and that's cool. I don't say anything, but they all know
Yeah,
where the content.
that's very kind of you because like a lot
Yeah,
of people you spend money on, and I
yeah,
get why people feel that way. It's credit is always nice. Hey, because you spend a lot of money and just time coming up with the concepts, and
right.
I'm sure the stuff you guys do now is probably way better than when you first started.
Yeah.
You're probably learning, man. So you started how did you say in 2013? That's really when you started. From the get-go, you were doing your
20,
own
yeah,
photos, right?
yeah. When 2013, when we got paid, I think it was like $750 for all our photos for this company to use on their website.
Deal.
I was like, all right, deal. It didn't cost me nothing. We're just playing around doing this. And now to where we're at now, it's great to see the recognition. Even when we were at the Chauffeur Driven show, people just coming up to me, asking to take pictures and communicating with me. And I am somewhat of an introvert here and there, but after going to the show and meeting some people and them saying, hey, your content inspired me to go do the same thing. There's a guy in Boston, he's up in his game in the content area and stuff like that. So it's fun. It's a way to communicate with your vendors and
Yeah.
support each other. It's pretty cool. I like it.
That's so cool. Like I've heard a lot of unique stuff, and this is yeah, it almost seems crazy that more aren't doing things like this because it's almost like a whole nother business. It's a whole nother way to acquire clients. And it makes even the marketing you're doing currently that much more effective, right? Because you have the image, I should say. And man, nice work on this. I guess if you're an operator, small, medium, whatever,
It doesn't
like,
matter. Get your stuff out there and get some content. It doesn't matter. Just put it out there. You're gonna pick up. You're gonna fail. You're gonna do good. It's just you got to put it out there, man.
what do you think's the most, would you probably, I'm guessing consistency. Just like, you just gotta stay at it.
I would say I think we. I don't want to say we're on a posting schedule. We're just like really shooting from the hip. If we feel like it's good, let's put it out there. I think now we're a little bit more strategic and we're starting to dip into some things that I think is way ahead of the industry
Okay.
as far as content. But if you feel like posting that day, post it.
Yeah.
People need to believe in you. And the easiest way to get people to do that is by producing content. And the more you can involve of putting yourself, I think a lot of people get hidden behind the suit. They feel that some type of status or whatever. But the more you put yourself, like Emerald does, you don't think of Emerald's restaurants without picturing him in your face. Bam.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything bad or anything about it, but like a lot of these big companies, I don't know who owns it.
Yeah. No, totally.
And shame on them for not putting themselves out there.
Yeah.
Because the one thing this industry lacks is a leader that everyone can look up to. And
is
this
so true.
industry, everybody's worried about getting paid. They don't know if they're going to get paid by the next one. That's also a scarcity mindset. If you don't
Yeah.
think about it, you're going to get paid. Sometimes it takes people longer than others, whatever, but you're going to get paid if you eliminate that scarcity mindset. But the one thing this industry doesn't have, they do not have a Michael Jordan. You might have a company that does crazy revenue, but I can't attach myself to revenue. I need to attach myself to someone.
Yeah.
This industry doesn't have that. So if I can't
You're right.
put myself up there and encourage people to get out there and shoot content, you're not going to need 100 and something affiliates to survive. You're going to need maybe none because your content's so good that
Yeah.
the executive
Totally.
assistants and this and that are seeing you on social media in another part of this country. And they're like, we're just going to go with this company here. I don't need to do that. And that might eliminate the whole middleman booking process. Some people like it, some people don't. But the more you can put yourself out there with the content, you're going to come across something. You got to have paid ads, you got to have SEO, and you got to have content. The reason you got to have paid content, paid Google stuff that I have you do is for the simple reason that I was telling you last week when the lady accidentally clicked on the wrong ad and she thought she was calling someone else and she called me and we ended up booking a movie gig off of it. You're not going to get those type of results just sitting at home.
Yeah. Or
you have to invest
or
in
whatever.
yourself. Doing paid Google ads is investing in yourself. I never did it, never wanted to do it, thought I was better than everybody because I didn't have to do it. And then when I did do it, I was like, I've been missing out on
all this time,
oh
right?
my God.
It's just another stream, right? Of revenue. You're like, oh, wow.
I can't believe I did not even do this. I hope people can watch this and see it's like, all right, let me go get my wife or a significant other. You can go get your 12-year-old daughter or son and be like, hey, let's go take the car and shoot the camera, find out how to work it. Get you some videos on YouTube. You can find somebody if you just look for it. A lot of us just are not looking for it.
Yeah.
Just blinded because we're intimidated by content.
Yeah.
It's made to be easy. It's just
and not just consumed reading. You want to go from a solely consumer, which it's easy to do. These apps are addicting, to creator. And you've got a lot of opportunities from it. And I don't know where you'd be without the content piece. Yes, all the Google ads, because then you're also competing with everyone. This content, you're not competing with anyone, right?
No, I might be competing with somebody, but I don't think I am.
Even if other people in your city were doing it though, you have a certain image, a style, and it draws people to you. And so that's why even if more people start doing this, there's enough for everyone, right? It's not a zero-sum game.
More than enough. We just have to go and get it and shoot some content. That's it. All you need is content.
Man, thanks so much for doing this, Robert.
I appreciate it, Mark.
Excited to see you at the show in about a month from now. And cool, I'll have to buy you a drink.
Yeah, I'll have to catch up with you like I did last time. And hopefully the weather's good. Hopefully I see a lot of people there. Maybe shoot some Vegas content.
Yeah, no, we will together. So
absolutely.
Cool,
thank you.
Have a